Good day to another learning session here at the subject Principles and Theories of Learning. So, once again, I'm Professor Glen. I'm your instructor in this subject. So, I'm pretty sure that you are really familiar with this topic, with our next topic today, because the topic has been given to you a week ago. And possibly this is just the confirmation that we're going to have in order to succeed. And if you have any questions and clarifications, you can just proceed here in the chat box. Then I'm pretty sure that you have encountered the topic about the theory of multiple intelligences, and the advocate for this or the proponent is Howard Gardner. So actually, the explosion of knowledge does not only confine with the existence of scores, that for those who are performing well in academics are those that can actually succeed in the future. So actually that's the previous conception about the intelligence. But right now, we know that the intelligence comes in various forms and displays, and not just only confined with those that can excel mathematically in language, but we can also tag those individuals who excel in sports and who have the capacity for self reflection as part of the multiple intelligence. Okay, so for this feedback, so before we start, I would like you to open your camera if it's really possible. And if you have any questions, clarifications, or insights about the course, you can just simply use the chat box. Okay, so you can just use the chat box to give your response. Then I would like to read. Then if you have questions that you want to be raised, or you want to talk about, then you can use the raise hand icon. So let me acknowledge you, and you can now verbalize your thoughts here in the class. Okay. So for this one, I'm pretty sure you have browsed this in our course, the multiple intelligences by Howard Gardner. So we have 9 multiple intelligences. So let's discuss them one by one. So first one we have here the verbal linguistic intelligence. So from the word itself, verbal linguistics. So it's about sensitivity to the meaning and order of the words and the varied uses of language. So when we use language in different forms and use this the power to influence others, or those who are script writers, speaking in front, public speaking. So that would mean for verbal linguistic intelligence. Next one is we have here the logical mathematical intelligence. So if you're a fond of identifying patterns, procedures, or you're working well with numbers, so you maybe will have this kind of intelligence. So this is actually the ability to handle long chains of reasoning and to recognize patterns in order in the world. So those who are really good in identifying patterns, procedures, sequence, even without the explicit form, or you can identify this in patterns by discovery, then probably you have this logical mathematical intelligence. Next one, if you're are you fond of making sure that you are in the virtual spaces or abstract form by displaying this not through numerics, not through words, but by the use of drawings. Maybe you're acquainted with the spatial intelligence, and this is actually the ability to perceive the virtual world accurately and to recreate, transform, and modify aspects of the world based on one's perception. So, for those who are have the spatial ability, they can see the word aside from numbers and also the words. So they can create spaces, shapes, forms. So those are really having they really entail creative minds, okay, that are not specifically seen in the world. So they offer space in their mind, then use their pen or paper to just draw something out of this world. So they visualize something out of order. Spatial intelligence. So are you fond of dancing, using your body just to make a move? Although right now, for all people, we use movement, but for others, they use this gracefully. So we have your bodily kinesthetic. So we have here the fine-tuned ability to use the body to handle objects, and by making sure that they communicate. So these are actually dancers. Okay, those who are really good when it comes to manipulation. So when we have your manipulative skills, your hands, gestures, or the bodily kinesthetic. The next one we have here the musical intelligence. So from the word itself, music. So those who have receptive when it comes to um, sounds and songs, right? So sensitivity to pitch, melody, and tone. The next one, if you have the means or ways on how to interact with others, so maybe you will have the interpersonal intelligences. So I'm really particular about this because it talks about the interaction, so how you connect with people and making sure that you also establish relationship. So personality makes the person, but interpersonal makes person to each other. Okay, so this is ability to notice and make distinctions about among others. So basically, we'll have the socialization. So who are strongly inclined in making friends with others, to connect with others, and also communicating what's on their mind to others. But it's not only the thing that we communicate with others, but how we perceive ourselves. Okay, so how to internalize or to make introspection. So we have here the intrapersonal intelligence. So this access to one's own feeling. If you have the goal set to yourself, if you remain faithful with all these things for yourself, so you can access your own feelings, you know how to set deadlines. So that means intrapersonal. The next one, you can see a lot of nature, right? So for people who would like to wind up, stir up something, veer away from usual routines, and to make connections or associations with the wonders of the world. So that means we have here the naturalist intelligence. So it's about observing, understanding, and organizing patterns in the natural environment. So I'm pretty sure you have been to many places, right? So if you have been to many places and you're pretty amazed about the tall buildings and the skyscraper buildings, the rockets, or even in the green meadows or the outside environment. So you can see a lot of trees. So you're particularly amazed by the wonders of the nature. So you have this connection. So therefore you have naturalist intelligence. So the last one is actually the new one. It's the existential intelligence. So it's about the ability to be sensitive or have the capacity to for concept analyzing and tackling deeper or larger questions about the human existence. So it's about having a philosophical mind. Okay, so they just dig deeper. So it's maybe somehow related to intrapersonal, but this one it talks about dig deeper to yourself, and you have the capacity to explore boundaries and not just the usual box. Okay. And when you answer common questions or the sensitive questions, you're basically dig deeper, have a deep dive on your mind. So from the word existence, okay, having philosophical mind and making sure that everything is all right and everything has their purpose. Okay. So for the multiple intelligences, don't forget we have here the verbal, linguistic, we have here the mathematical logical, we have here the bodily kinesthetic, we have here the visual spatial intelligence, the musical interpersonal, intrapersonal, naturalist, and existential. So these are the multiple intelligences proposed by Howard Gardner. So I hope you learned from it. So I'll see you then.